Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Camo. I'm Director of Content for T3 Live, and I'm bringing in my stock market best friend, Sami Abusaad, who hopefully will bring me out of my depression because I've been long Starbucks and losing lots and lots and lots of money. So, Sam, that's just one of the things we're going to cover today. Sammy's going to let me know if I should just throw it in the garbage and move on with my life or hang on to it. So again, we're going to talk about whether Starbucks is dead. We're going to talk about uranium, these booming obesity drug stocks like Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Viking. And of course, the China bull market, which we discussed last week, but I think it's such an interesting topic. So, Sammy, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Mike. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So let's get dirty right away. Let's get to the ugly stuff. So Starbucks, they just got destroyed on the earnings report. It's down about 22% year to date. A lot of these consumer stocks, like Lululemon is another one, has gotten destroyed. So what are you seeing on the chart now with Starbucks? And again, as always, your brutal honesty is required.
Absolutely. You shall have my brutal honesty. Starbucks, so here's the thing. A lot of stocks, especially the big names, they don't really, they almost always bottom after a big gap down. So it's just the way it is. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. I do know why, but it would take us a while to go through the psychology. Basically, people finally give up on it, and then it ends up being the bottom. But if we look at the month, this is the daily chart of Starbucks. Here's the monthly chart. This is a good spot for Starbucks to bounce from. I mean, it could be the bottom. It's hard to say really for sure, but this is a good spot. This is the low from 2022. So I think, you got good odds that this will end up being the bottom on Starbucks, honestly. Hopefully it is. There's no way to know for sure because the setup is tough. It tried to go higher last week and then failed, and now it's bouncing hard again. But so the setup, I can't tell based on this setup whether this is the bottom or not, but I do like the odds based on the monthly chart, based on the support. So I like it. I think it's not too bad.
All right, good. Sammy, I trust you are telling me the truth and not just what I want to hear. Okay, all right. Another big topic in the market lately is uranium. The U.S., they recently banned Russian uranium imports. So URA has had like little spurts. It's been going back and forth. What do you see with uranium? This is another one of those cult sectors, sort of, where everybody's waiting for the big like long-term move. So what do you see with URA?
I think the long-term move has already started, and it started in like mid 2023, mid last year, August to be exact, of 2023. The breakout on the monthly chart. I think it looks good. I don't see a lot of momentum in it, meaning I don't see a ton of momentum, but if we zoom out a little bit more on the monthly chart, you can see that it's just starting to break out. So I honestly think uranium is headed to, at least the ETF, I think is headed to, eventually it will double to like 60, 64. I'm not trying to deliver good news here, Mike. I know you're locked and loaded on uranium, but it looks great. Honestly, think it looks great.
Okay. All right. Also, so another hot topic in the market is these obesity drug stocks, because we have all celebrities talking about Ozempic. They're either denying or everybody's sort of like, this actually interesting exercise for everybody out there. Google Ozempic face, because there's a big topic out there is speculating which celebrities are on Ozempic, because there's a whole lot of celebrities that have suddenly lost a whole lot of weight after years of struggling. So, Sammy, why don't we go through some? I guess there's three ones really people are watching. There's Novo Nordisk, and then we'll get to the other one. So why don't we actually start with NVO?
NVO looks amazing because of the weekly chart. It's a weekly buy setup, so it's actually a really good long-term idea. But I want to see it take out 130.50 first on the NVO. So if it takes out 130.50, it should be higher. I'd be willing to bet you $100 that it's higher over 130.50 with a stop under 121.78, and then go on vacation because it just looks really, really good. The NVO, and then there's no target in sight. I think it will end up taking out the prior high, the all-time high, which is 138. But yeah, NVO for sure looks higher. The way I know it's higher, it's not just because it has a nice weekly chart. It's because it tried to break down right here. In fact, it broke down a little bit and then recovered from it. So the short-term weakness was negated, and now it should continue in the direction of the trend, and the trend is up. And so I really, really like the NVO. The VKTX is just so bullish, but it's hard to play because it's up so much. Now, if we look at the daily chart, so it went crazy climactic, or whatever you want to call that move, a couple of months ago in March or end of February, fell apart a little bit, and notice it recovered and has been basing. So it's getting ready for a breakout too. Now, the NVO, in my opinion, is an easier setup, but this is not a terrible setup either. Over 70, no, it's over 82. Stop under this bar's low, which is 72.88. So it's a $9 stop. Big stops, but should be higher, should probably retest at least the all-time high, and maybe even much higher. That's what I think. The Lilly, or the not, yeah, Lilly. Lilly is already made the move, and it's been just moving up for a long, long time. So Lilly would be, the slowest mover for sure. But it too is not bearish at all. It went way up, tried to come in a couple of times. This is the monthly chart. Here's the daily. Tried to roll over once, twice, and no follow through to the downside. And it's back up and it's basing. The longer it bases, the more likely it is to move up. All three of them look good, but definitely the NVO and the VKTX over the Lilly. Lilly is like a $700 billion company, so it's not going to move with the same kind of momentum that the VKTX and the NVO will.
Okay, so Sami, just like a short aside on VKTX. So you talked about having a very wide stop. Is that normal for you on that type of volatile stock?
First, the chart dictates the stop. So I know that there's a base and my entry is above the base. My stop would be under the base. So first, the chart dictates the stop. But second, the more volatile the stock is and the higher priced it is, the larger the stop is going to be, because you'll get shaken out easily otherwise. So yeah, in general, the expensive stocks, the highly volatile stocks, we want to go with a big stop, but ultimately the chart always dictates the stop. And in this case, it's just the chart says you got to have a $9 stop if you want to play the VKTX.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about China, because we had a big discussion last week about China. It's basic. I think China's up slightly. Like FXI might be flat or up like 1% from last week's discussion. So
which was this year's high. I mean, it was at the high, came in a little bit with the US market, and right back up to the highs.
Yeah. So what are you seeing with China from here?
Higher and higher and higher. That's what I'm seeing. But the right place to go long is, you see this line? That's a 20-period moving average. The right place, the right time to go long is when price pulls back to the 20. So somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, not up here. So this is difficult now. And this is the problem with missing out sometimes. If you pass on a play and it just goes up and up and up and never comes back in, what if it goes up to 40 and then comes back into the 20 MA at 35? Then at 27, you look back and say, oh, that was better entry, but that's not the right entry. The rule is the entry needs to be at or near the 20-period moving average, and that's not where it is at right now. So tough to be entering into FXI. There are individual stocks that are much better within the China sector, so to speak. I mean, I have like a dozen of them in my account, to tell you the truth. I can name them, but some of them are already too far gone. But here's a few that are maybe not too late. The TAL off the 20, right? Those are the education stocks. The got you, the EDU. I'm not the got you, and the TL. I'm in the got you. I'm not in. But notice it broke down and recovered, and now is doing a weekly buy setup. But the EDU, if you look at the monthly chart, is already went up from 80 to 100, from $8 to 100. So that's probably not where the money is. But the got you, the TAL, I like a lot. I'm in the BABA, I'm in the JD, I'm in the Billy, I'm in the BZ, I'm in the QFIN. QFIN looks amazing, but again, the issue is, we do these this live stream, Mike, once a week, so sometimes it makes all the difference whether you get it a couple of days earlier or when we do the stream. So like the QFIN broke out, but really the right entry for it is not even today. It was several days ago, maybe 5 days ago. But if you look at the monthly, we talked about this in last week's live stream. This is a good monthly chart. BZ is a good monthly chart. The YMM is a good monthly chart. So find a way in when price corrects to the 20 MA, right? So BZ, YMM, the TAL, the got you, the QFIN, right? I'm in the BABA also. I'm in the JD. I don't know. I mean, I hope I have 1,000 shares of the BABA. I have 1,500 shares of the JD. Go ahead.
Could you actually give us a little bit of a deep dive on BABA? Because so throughout the T3 community, I will say, like inside our trading rooms, BABA is one of the most hated stocks. It seems like this stock frustrates people more than anything else. So can you like go through why you're long BABA, and also when you got in, because we can see it's
I got in that day on the breakout of the base, on the breakout of this base, and I did it live on the mic in the room. But let's talk about BABA. I'm glad you brought it up. So this is why BABA is frustrating. It's because every time it looked like it was gonna go, every time it looked really good, popped and then drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, every single time. So that's why, I mean, I'm not in that other room that you mentioned, so I don't know, but I'm a trader, so I know. So every time it looked good, it failed, continuously failed. In fact, so I have 18 China charts permanent charts that I always keep on my thumbnail charts. Sometimes I add to them, sometimes I take some away if I'm not interested anymore. For a while, I took the BABA off my charts because I could tell it kept failing. But and so over here, this would have been the right entry, even though it wasn't at the 20, but it would have been because China was bottoming at that time. But BABA, I wasn't interested in because it was not good. It wouldn't follow through. But look what happened. It went so it broke down, recovered from the breakdown, and then ended up breaking out. So the point is, remember, the market speaks loudest in its failures, when it fails. So BABA, to me, broke down and failed. Now, if we also look at the longer term picture of BABA, unlike FXI, unlike the yen, right, which went all the way back up to the prior low, to the 2022 lows. So all from the January top to 2023, all the way back down to the November lows of 2022, right? And then now recovered and is looking really good long term. If you look at BABA, it actually never retested the prior lows. It's a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. But yes, in the most recent last several months, last several weeks, it's been constantly failing, which is why when everything else was going higher, I decided to pass on BABA. I would have loved to have bought the BABA right here. I didn't. I bought it on the break of the base. I bought 600 shares on that day, and then I added 400 just yesterday, I think. Now, if we also look at the weekly chart, the weekly is transitioning. You see the weekly, how it broke the downtrend? It's been in a nice downtrend for months. In fact, you could say, no, it's been in a downtrend for years, right? Finally broke the downtrend. So this should be higher. Now, the entry on BABA was difficult, unlike some of the other ones that I'm in, because I told you why, because it just kept failing and I ignored it until I couldn't ignore it anymore. But I do think BABA, along with the other China stocks, have bottomed. So find a way in, look for a pullback to the moving averages, to the 20 period moving average on the daily chart mainly, and get aggressive with a good pattern. Whenever you see a good pattern, get aggressive. The worst that could happen is you lose an R, one risk unit basically is what one R means, and then you have to maybe retry again. But I like to be aggressive if the stock is at the right location. If the stock is at the right spot, I like to be aggressive. If the stock is not at the right spot, I don't like to be aggressive.
Okay. Is there any other are there any other names on your radar now that you like?
From the China stocks,
Anywhere in the world.
anywhere in the world. Okay, so mostly the China stocks, but I mean, because we I do have one more that but because we are in earnings season, uh, all the good ones and I have in my account, they're almost all gone. Like the ones like QTWO, I think. Yeah, it's QTWO. I'm looking at my account. This is a beautiful monthly transition A. But again, because we're in earnings season, a lot of them are gone. The XYL is gone. Toast, just a couple days ago, I got it. Actually, this could be setting up as a 1, 2, 3. So there are some really nice ones, but they may be a little bit late because they already gapped on earnings. I like the GPS also, and I like Bitcoin. I think today might have been the bottom on Bitcoin on this pullback. So I do like BITO or IBIT, which is Bitcoin. Apple on earnings we did in the room. I'm holding it, so we'll see. I think Apple bottomed. It was a nice monthly buy setup. And just yesterday, I got it 2 days ago, and then yesterday I added to the BA. So I think BA bottomed. I wish I would have given the BA a try at the lows here, either this day or that day when it took out the high. But BA is also another stock that keeps failing. So I decided to pass on it, and I think BA bottomed. The way I know it bottomed, you never know for sure, but the way I suspect it bottomed is because if first we start with the larger time frame. If we look at the monthly chart, it came in first, it got all the bad news that it could have is already out. And then if you look at the monthly, tried to transition here and failed because of the news, but landed right on that 200 period moving average at support on the monthly. If you look at the weekly chart, this is what I call the battle bar. This is a really strong reversal bar that it got. And so I think it bottomed. I'm in it. I have 1,100 shares actually, which is a lot for $180 stock, but I will not be keeping it if it takes out, I think it's 174. Yeah, 174.70. So that's my stop. This one is not too late, unlike most of the other ones that I have in my account, because a lot of the other ones that I have in my account long term that I like are a bit late because they already gapped on earnings. But the BA, I think, is not too late. Okay. Oscar
Okay, so
is also late. Go ahead. Yes.
yeah, so with the stock, I would say Boeing specifically, like I've never seen a company have more bad news. It's like every other day there's a problem with a plane somewhere because they're not tightening the bolts, or it's just
You couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, it's the craziest thing in the world. Maybe perhaps the most iconic company in the country, and no competition, virtually no competition, and yet they can't figure out the nuts and bolts, literally and figuratively. I don't know what the heck is going on with them. It's like, I just looked up the market cap for it. I believe it's just $110 billion. I looked it up yesterday. BA market cap, it's 110. So, I mean, for a company that makes ginormous equipment, planes, that has no competition, that's iconic, that the whole country wants to see succeed, they're like shooting themselves in the foot, it seems like. I don't know. So, but I do like it, and I also, personally, I gravitate towards plays that are like, I'm willing to be like, would I do this as a swing? I wouldn't. Meaning, I don't think this is good enough as a swing. But I gravitate towards plays that might end up becoming long-term holds, because all you need to catch is one a year or two a year. If this ends up being a hold and you get good size, a long-term hold, and it goes back up to 400, right? Or however, the high I think is 440 or so, the all-time high. It's more than 440. It's 446. So then, and you caught it at the bottom. I mean, it will make a lot more money than just a swing trade that you end up holding for a day or two. So I tend to be aggressive with plays that I think might end up being long-term holds, because those are the ones that make the big money over time. So I think it's worth a shot personally.
You are a brave man, Sami.
I do have 1,100 shares, which is market value is 198,000, 198 and 759.
Okay,
So, which is a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
So Sami's not full. Sami's putting his money where his mouth is. So if he's wrong, he will suffer personally. There will be no summer vacation for Sami if Boeing drops another $20.
Not really, because I always follow my stops. I always take my stops. So if it breaks under 174.70, I will probably be out. Okay. My stop is actually 167.50. It's right here. But with the move up yesterday that we got, I'm looking to raise it to 170.70, 174.50, let's just say. So not really. And also, if I know that I did the best that I could, I took a good play and I followed my plan, did the best that I could, I sleep easy at night. I don't mind those. I only have a problem when I know better and I went ahead and did, whatever I did was, I knew it was wrong and I still did it. Those are the mistakes that hurt the soul, that keep you up at night. And I try to eliminate them as much as possible, to tell you the truth. Bitcoin is coming in.
Okay. All right, guys. Next week, we are going to talk about the mistakes that keep us up at night. That will be the topic of discussion. So I hope you come back and join us next Thursday. So Sami's going to make all his confessions. I will make mine too. So I will not just make Sami the bad guy. I will also make some. I'll just say this. I should have been retired many times over again over stupid mistakes. But guys, if you want to join Sami's trading room, where you can get all his calls live. I mean, you just saw how straightforward and simple he makes everything. You can go to t3live.com/SamiLive, t3live.com/SamiLive. The link is also in the video description if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, or on Twitter. The link is right in the tweet. You get Sami's ideas in real time with entries and exits. You get live coaching every Tuesday. And you could start for just $49. You save $146 on your first month. t3live.com/SamiLive. So Sami, yes, I wasn't kidding. We will make our ugly confessions next week.
I'm sorry for the mistakes, but I'm glad you haven't retired, Mike.
Yeah, me too. I don't do well with idle time, so I'm not going to retire until I'm dead. So
what people don't know is Mike is the best guy at T3. I'm the second best, but he's the best guy at T3. That's for sure.
Sami he's 100% right. So thank you, Sami. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll be back next Thursday. Bye, guys.
Take care, guys.